Thank you for being here this morning at the San Francisco Police Academy. I want to introduce some of the folks that are behind me. Obviously, our Mayor, Ed Lee, Thomas Mizuko, President of the San Francisco Police Commission, Ron Conway, the Chairman of SF.citi, Caroline Barrelin, the Director of Global Community Engagement for Hewlett-Packard, Susan Giffen, who's our Chief Information Technology person here at the San Francisco Police Department, Leo Solomon, Director of IT Project Management, Adam Fingerman, CEO and founder of ArcTouch, Zach Gottlieb, Product Lead, ArcTouch, and the newest classes of the San Francisco Police Academy, both lateral and entry level. The entry level officers are starting today. Without delay, I'm going to introduce Mayor Lee to explain to you why you're here. It's a very exciting day for me as Chief of Police as we step into the next stage of progressive technology for the San Francisco Police Department. Mayor Ed Lee.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here this morning, and certainly the very first thing I want to do is thank the Chief and thank all of the men and women of the new class who will also share in the responsibility of taking care of our citizens. I want to personally thank you very much for your sacrifice and the work that you will be doing with us. Our police department, of course, is essential to a safe city. And when Chief and I first did our interviews when he was coming in to see me, we talked about the technology, and I had said in my previous role that we were part of the effort to help Sue Giffen and her efforts to modernize our police department. Of course, within months, Sue was coming into the city administrator's office telling us what the department did not have set up. And of course, with Commission President Mizuko and the Chief, as they've come together during this administration, we wanted to take care of that in the most passionate way. But, you know, a couple of weeks ago, we were up here already announcing our city's support and efforts to create multiple classes for the future to make sure that as we see so many other of our officers retire, that we'll fill those ranks. And I think that our new recruits are completely reflective of that effort, and we'll see more and more of our recruits as months to come as they help take care of the future ranks in our city. You know, today we are announcing a very special endeavor, one that reflects so many of our administration's effort to modernize our police force. As you know, I've been very much focused on our openness in inviting technology to help us solve problems, social problems, communication problems, challenges that each of our departments have. And I'm thrilled because the formation that Ron Conway led with the creation of SF.citi and the promise that not only would it be a voice for technology and innovative companies to tell us what we could do to help the industry succeed in our city, but there was also a promise that we mutually made together, which is how can our technology companies help us become a better city, a city that can serve our residents even more efficiently, smarter, and innovatively. And we identified quite a number of projects in our city. Some of them are being baked, if you will, but this was one that we wanted to put out front and center. So 6 months into this new administration, we're ready to announce today that in partnership with SF.citi and with one of its key members, ArcTouch, and also HP, Hewlett-Packard, we have formed a two-phased project that will address something that Sue Giffen and Chief Sir and President Mizuko have identified for us for many years that have hampered our police department's use of efficient time. You know, one of the things that the street officers do on a daily basis is they have to write incident reports, and they have to get to crime data in order for them to do their job. Most of that effort is done by the officers leaving the streets and returning to their stations or to the downtown office to access the ready computers that are there so they can get into the crime data that Sue Giffen has been perfecting in her channels. We don't have the mobility, if you will, to have the officers access that information while they're in their cars or on their streets. And so in a two-phase process, what we're doing today is announcing a partnership with HP is donating some 60 of the initial first-class laptops to be used by this particular class to train them. And SF.citi is donating $100,000 in that effort to help with the whole training program. And combined, they are working with ArcTouch to develop applications so that once these officers are trained in accessing the crime data through the crime data warehouse that Ms. Giffen is in charge of as the CIO, ArcTouch will be then in phase 2 developing applications so that various mobile devices, in addition to the laptops, and eventually it will be tablets, and then mobile applications that might be on their phones to be able to access crime data, be able to utilize new technology in order to transfer speech and video into written reports that will make the officers very versatile in the field. And that's important to stress, because one of the problems we've always faced in both limited budget times, but even in robust times, is whenever you have to have an officer remove him or herself off the street, out of presence of the community, into a station to write reports for several hours, that presence is missing. And in order for the efficiencies to be had, we have to develop innovatively technology that offers that access in a mobile way. And this is what this relationship will do for us. It begins with this donation, but the essential part that will take place within these walls is the actual training to utilize the accessibilities from the HP laptops into the crime data warehouse and have the applications developed over time. It's a wonderful program. It is one that I think reflects exactly the relationship that Ron Conway and I discussed months ago when we started this, is how can we be a more efficient city? How can we save time? And how can we still have the officers perform the essential service of being physically there in the neighborhoods, on our streets, protecting our citizens and our visitors? So this is a wonderful announcement. I am fully endorsement of this, and I want to thank the chief for his leadership, and certainly the president of the commission and the whole commission. But I also want to give a really strong shout out to SF.citi and to its members who have stepped up so quickly, identified this area that will have endless, I think, solutions to giving us the ability to be even more efficient. And you know, the time-saving aspect of this is so critical, because the more police presence that we have as we invite and host all of these wonderful events in the city, we have to have the officers out there even more. And so over a short period of time, you'll see the absorption of this technology into our officers' daily work, and then you'll see them even more have a presence out there. And I think in a very short time, the ability to have mobile applications will be a very, very good answer of efficiencies for our officers. So again, I want to thank HP. Their team is here today. ArcTouch and their leaders are here. Of course, SF.citi. And this is just one member, Ron. You know, we have so many other departments that are asking for modern technology. And so as we go through, other things will come out of our baking oven to get on to modernizing our whole city government. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I can't tell you how exciting this is for the San Francisco Police Department. Much has been made in the media that we're currently down 200 and some odd officers, and we will be down 300 plus officers by this time next year before we catch the bounce from these new officers hitting the streets. By being able to have these officers remain in the field through mobile technology will increase their time on the street 3 to 4 hours a day. 30 to 40% a day. Multiply that times the well over 1,000 officers that we have in the field. You can imagine the efficiency that that promotes for the San Francisco Police Department and contributes towards public safety. I have to tell you though, I mean, Mayor Lee, he's all about efficiency and technology and public safety and public-private partnership, and we're lucky to have him as our mayor. And it went hand in glove with what a friend of mine saw in 2003, and we're naming this initiative within the San Francisco Police Department the Michael J. Homer Initiative. And his mom, sister, and niece just walked into the room over here, so I'm gonna ask them to come forward. Mike was a tech giant, one of the starters of Netscape, and a very dear friend of Bill Campbell from Intuit, Ron Conway, and Todd Bradley of HP. And we would often talk about having to make San Francisco and the San Francisco Police Department the most technologically progressive police department in the country. And if Lieutenant Kurt Bruneman and I could ever be in a position to make that happen, we would do that. And then we were blessed with a mayor that wanted to see that happen and an IT director that could make it happen. So going forward, this initiative, however it can help the San Francisco Police Department be connected and then hopefully eventually grow it regionally, to make it simple, this is in fact the Bat computer. This is where we can punch a single piece of information into a Google search capability system to tell us what we need to know, whether it's a car, a person, a description, anything like that. We can find it out like that. You would think that we would have been able to do this already, but that has not been the case. I mean, remember, we just got email department-wide last year. So we have moved tremendously just in the last 13 months, and we've left the note post-it days and are now into a Google searchable web-based data warehouse, and have now a partnership with SF.citi, HP, and ArchTouch, and a mayor that's pushing the whole thing forward with his full support. And these officers behind me will never know a desktop computer. They will only know mobile technology, and that includes the 3 classes a year for the next 6 years and 2 classes a year after that. So eventually we will be the most efficient, technologically progressive police department and a leader in the region in hopefully connecting to our neighboring counties to make this not only San Francisco but the entire Bay Area as safe as a community as there is in the country. So I thank you, and again I want to recognize Mike's mom, Irene Homer, Sue Homer, and Sue's gorgeous daughter. For giving us Mike for as long as we had him, and there wasn't a smarter guy on the planet, and so we'll try to carry on in his memory. So our next speaker will be President Thomas Mazzucco of the Police Commission.
Thank you. I'll be brief. You noticed some emotion in Chief Sir. He was good friends with Mike Homer, as was Lieutenant Bruneman. They were raised with him. They attended St. Ignatius with him. He was very successful in the computer industry, yet he never lost his friends who were working and serving the city as police officers. And I know they were very dedicated to him, so I want to thank his family. When I first joined the Police Commission 4 years ago, we were having a meeting regarding crime mapping. And it was important to us to have the community able to go online and see what's going on in their area. Then I asked the chief, I said, well, when the officers get to work, are they able to go online in the station and see what's been happening in their car sector? The answer was no. And I said, what do you mean? They said, we don't have internet capability at the police stations. The whole commission was shocked. We couldn't believe that something as simple as internet was not available. That has changed. Thanks to Mayor Lee, Mr. Conway, Chief Sir, and some folks before him, and Susan Giffen, our new Director of Technology. We actually set out and hired the first Director of Technology, who reported back to the Commission and told us there was no technology. So we've made great strides, and I want to thank the members of the community that came forward. We talk a lot about community policing. We often wondered about our neighbors in Silicon Valley. What can they do for us to make our officers more efficient? How can they help us? And that too is a form of community policing. And they came forward to help us to make these officers more efficient. So from the bottom of my heart and from the commission, I want to thank everybody, Mr. Conway, HP, City, SF.citi. This is incredible accomplishment. And I want to thank our new officers. This is a great site. It's a site for sore eyes. This is a site that Mayor Lee made possible through his work with the Board of Supervisors and the Police Commission. The good news is this information technology is going to them. They're more technology savvy. Just look at them. They're younger. They're raised on laptops and iPads. Where the chief and I, we're just working out text messaging now. We're getting pretty good. So I want to thank everybody for being here, and I want to thank everybody for making this possible. Thanks.
I want to reassure everybody that even though we couldn't share information technology, we are a very chatty police department, and we did tell each other what happened the day before. So our next speaker is no stranger to really anything that's progressive in the Bay Area, and for certain in San Francisco. He's been a great friend to the city and to me, and that would be Ron Conway, Chairman of SF.citi.
Thank you, Greg. It's an honor to be here. I represent SF.citi, which is an organization that I founded in January. It's kind of a product of the election of Ed Lee as mayor of San Francisco and more civic engagement in the city. SF.citi has approaching 300 member companies in the city of San Francisco. These are all tech companies that now represent well over 90% of the tech population in San Francisco. So we are very representative of the tech community. We adopted 5 pillars where we are going to be involved in San Francisco. The first pillar is jobs. The second pillar is transportation. The third pillar is philanthropy. The fourth pillar is policy. And the fifth pillar, which we're here to talk about today, is public safety. SF.citi got involved last week with the Future Grads program, which is going to take kids off the street and give them internships during the summer. This is a program founded by Greg Sir and the SFPD. But we thought it would be very apropos for SF.citi to get involved in helping San Francisco's police department leapfrog technology and be a national showcase for the use of technology. And why not do that right here in San Francisco, which is the innovation capital of the world, as stated by Mayor Ed Lee at his inauguration. And we're going to make that happen. Going back to 2003, when Mike Homer visited Greg Sir here at the SFPD and would ridicule him for how backward police departments basically across the country were in technology. It may have taken us a while, but today we're here to announce that we have fulfilled Mike Homer's dream, and his dream was to be ahead of technology, not along with it or behind it, but ahead of it. And by equipping these cadets, soon to be police officers, with technology, as Greg Sir said, 30% more time on the streets of San Francisco with the citizens of San Francisco. That is a material change. And like Greg Sir, I want to honor Mike's mom and her family who are here, who live just down the street, I think. So with that, SF.citi is honored to be here, honored to be included, and I think we will help the city of San Francisco continue to stay ahead of technology and utilize technology first and be a national showcase for technology in police work.
Our next speaker is going to be Carolyn Barrelin, Director of Global Community Engagement for Hewlett-Packard. Again, it's their generosity that's really getting this program off the board in taking Ron's phone calls. Carolyn.
Good morning. I'm delighted to be here, and I just want to thank Chief Sir and the SFPD for this opportunity. Your passion for making this commitment of innovating and updating the department will definitely make our city safer, and we are grateful for that. I also want to take this moment to thank the mayor for creating one of the most innovative, or the innovative capital, and your unwavering commitment to continually improving the city of San Francisco for our citizens is something we are very, very appreciative of. I also want to thank and congratulate Ron Conway and San Francisco City. So SF.citi is really the embodiment of an incredible collaboration across the sectors. And for us to address some of the biggest social challenges we face today in this city and across our nation, it's really critical for us to cut across sectors, and this today is a perfect example of us doing that. So Ron, thank you and congratulations for really bringing together the partnership and making it possible for us to turn this vision of Chief Sirs and the CIOs of this SFPD's vision into reality. When SF.citi approached HP for this opportunity, we were delighted about this idea of really bringing our technology, our state-of-the-art products, and bringing that power of that technology to the hands of the SFPD officers, and what that possibility could do to really make a difference in our city, to make it safer and more efficient, as we talked about. So we are excited to announce today that HP is donating over 60 Ultrabooks to this program, to the SFPD, and to the, in conjunction with the Academy and the training these SF future officers, to enable these officers to be able to do training on the street, which increases their efficiency. So anywhere they are at any time, being able to access the crime data warehouse, which we are delighted to have the HP technology be able to do that. With that, I just want to thank everybody for this opportunity, and hopefully this will be the first of many ways we will be able to partner with the City of San Francisco, and turn it over to Susan Giffen to talk about what this means for the department, so the CIO of the SFPD. Susan? Thank you.
Good morning. When the chief first took his position as chief of police, I think it was his very first day, he was still moving into his office. And he said to me, I would like for police officers to be able to enter police reports in the field and not return to the office. And I would like this to be a web-based system. And I want to meet with you an hour a day until I understand all of the issues and we can remove all the obstacles. And he did that. So it's that level of commitment on the part of the chief, who also got the support of the mayor and all of the command staff, that has enabled this day and this success. The Crime Data Warehouse is our new state-of-the-art web-based portal and data warehouse used to prevent, solve, and manage crime. It is a multi-phase project. We have implemented the first two phases, which are really the most important. Starting with search in October of 2011, we basically loaded in more than a decade's worth of historical police reports and provided a search capability. And then most recently, we're just finishing the implementation of incident reporting into all the district stations. We've actually rolled it out to all the district stations as of June of this year. So what does that mean to San Francisco? How has that improved the way we manage crime? I want to talk about three things. There are a lot more, but I'll go through three, and then we'll actually show you the system live. First of all, timely and visible information about crime. So today, because police officers are entering their reports directly into a data warehouse, when a crime happens in the Tenderloin, that becomes visible in the Mission and the Bayview and everywhere else instantly. Full information in a very timely basis the minute the police report is finished. So that's huge in terms of identifying crime trends, identifying suspects, identifying MOs, etc. Secondly, the search capability. As the chief mentioned, you'd think we would have already had this type of capability, but not only do we have a Google-type search capability in this system, but it's actually unique in law enforcement. Most of the law enforcement systems require that you search based on a certain way the system is set up. So for example, you can search on hair color, but the person should have blonde hair, black hair, brown hair, or other. Well, what if the person has purple hair, or purple and green, or as I was driving here, I saw someone with red and black hair. This system allows you to search on specific hair color, specific anything. The importance of this search capability became important before we even went live with the system. We were in beta test. As I mentioned, we loaded the historical police reports, and we gave it to our robbery investigations team as a beta test. And one of the lieutenants in robbery, I asked him to be here. He couldn't be here. He tells us better than I do. But we had a serial robbery suspect, and we only had a nickname for that person. It was a unique nickname, but all he had was a nickname. We weren't even live on the crime data warehouse, but we loaded the information. He did a search on the nickname. He found a field interview that an officer had done a couple years prior with that individual's name. He then took that individual's name out to the social websites, and that person had posted a picture of some of the property in question associated with robberies on his social website. So we were able to apprehend a criminal using the crime data warehouse simple search capability before the system even went live. And we'll show you the search here in a moment. The final thing I want to mention about this system is that it is web-based. Again, this was the chief through Mike Homer's recommendation that it be web-based. So why is that important? That's important because in most of these systems, you have to install particular software on a particular computer and use that computer. On this system, it's accessible anywhere you can get access to the internet. Obviously, there's some security involved, but it just really makes it a very flexible system and allows our officers to enter incident reports anywhere. So that's very cool, that's very flexible, but I think the mayor mentioned we still didn't have computers for the officers. So that's where the significance of what SF.citi has done and what HP has done, and we actually have an HP Ultrabook sitting here. It's a very cool machine, perfect for the police. It weighs 2 pounds. It's titanium enclosed. I keep thinking we should, hold it up to see if it withstands a bullet. I don't think it does, but anyway, that's it. And what that allows our officers to have access to the crime data warehouse, but it also allows them to have access to the 24 other criminal justice systems, such as mugshots, FBI Most Wanted, DMV, and all that information. So essentially, they're carrying around a district station in their hands. So it's a very, very important step for us. And then finally, I want to mention ArcTouch's contribution, which is really the future, and this extends the reach of the crime data warehouse into all kinds of mobile devices and to do a better job of using mobile capabilities. And I think ArcTouch will demonstrate that in a moment. So with that, I would like to, and by the way, there were many people I'd love to recognize the whole team involved. The project director for this project who led it start to finish was Leo Solomon. He's here today, and he is going to work with Inspector Alan Hannibal, who is responsible for training, I think at this point, more than 1,300 officers on the system. Alan and Leo.
Thank you, Susan. What we're going to show you today, this morning, is a couple of screenshots of the crime data warehouse system, which will allow you to see exactly what the officers are going to see either on the street or at the computers that they're currently working on now. So here what you have is the search field, which, as you can see here, we can search for anything: description, nicknames, tattoos, partial license plates, hair color, and etc. This search tab basically functions just like a Google type search that you would do at your home computer. When you put in your keyword or whatever you want to search on the internet, it searches the entire internet. This searches exactly the same thing, but only our police database, which goes back to information from 1981. In this example here, we've typed in Giant's Hat. So if we were to type in Giant's Hat and we hit search, which is our next screen, Leo, this is the results that we would get from searching the Giant's Hat. On the first part of our screen, basically it shows the text portion, which basically searches for any type of words containing Giant's Hat in a police report. To view that incident, all we would do is click on the incident number, which would give us the actual police report. In the very bottom here where it says property text, these are all the incident reports that contain a Giants cap in the property section. Next. And here, lastly, is the report tab, which allows anybody in this system to view any type of crime statistics on a real-time basis. In the past, we wouldn't have this capability. We would have to wait for the clerical section, the report management section to hand us down the stats or the actual reports. Now we can go in here and actually view them ourselves.
So our next speaker is going to be Adam Fingerman, CEO and founder of ArcTouch, and Zach Gottlieb, the project lead, will be his capable assistant.
How do you make it easier and faster for officers in the field to report incident information back to the crime data warehouse? To solve this, ArcTouch is going to work closely with the SFPD to design and develop a new mobile app that streamlines field reporting. We're going to use the latest mobile technologies, such as GPS with built-in maps, speech-to-text dictation so officers can say what they saw as opposed to type what they saw. We're going to use full touch and swipe gestures to minimize keyboard entry. And also we're going to have integrated photo and video and image and audio collection. And all of this is going to be assembled in one place, so all the relevant information about an incident is together and sent to the crime data warehouse in real time, allowing officers to spend much more time out on the streets instead of writing reports. ArcTouch, being a San Francisco-based business, has many employees who live and work in San Francisco, and we are absolutely thrilled to be part of this initiative. We'd like to thank Mayor Lee for supporting technology companies in San Francisco. We'd like to thank Ron and sf.citi for bringing technology companies together so that they can do great things for the city and its citizens. And most of all, we'd like to thank Chief Sir for having the forward thinking to start this program and make this field reporting app, which we believe is going to be a great thing, not just for the city, but set the standard for mobile app field reporting for the entire nation. I'd like to now invite Zach Gottlieb up here. He's the product lead for this app, and he's going to walk you through some of our concept designs. Thank you.
So I just want to say how excited we are to have the opportunity to work on a product like this that could have such a huge impact for the people of San Francisco. Imagine, if you will, that the officer has this mobile device on their dashboard while they're driving. And a call comes in. All right, we know by their GPS where in the vicinity they are, so we're able to direct to this particular officer and their device a call. So it's a code 411, which is a stolen vehicle. We know it's a 251 Bush, and we have any other relevant information that may be attached to that report. Two males wearing dark clothes at the corner of Sanson and Bush. So the officer then accepts it, and instantly their device is now attached to this particular case file. So we see what we call the map view. This is where most of the collection of data occurs. Many of us are used to seeing this type of map view. The officer is represented by the blue circle in the middle. The crime location is located here by the red dot. Speaking with officers, we also found that they like to know about the location before they get there. So using things such as Street View that are already built into these devices, they can gather information before they ever arrive on the scene. In addition, we have some information below. We still know it's a code 411. We also know the time that's transpired since the officer took the call. All right, so the officer proceeds to the location, and now they get out of there, they take the tablet off their dashboard, and they go into what we call data collection mode. So it brings up their data collection dashboard. Now, having spoken to a number of officers in the field, we know that they carry a number of different items. They carry cameras, they carry audio devices, they carry pen and paper. We're trying to eliminate the need for all of these, not only to make it easier on him, on the officer to carry all this, but the amount of time it takes to compile all this information once they get back to the station is huge. So if we can leverage all the different technology in one place to make it simple and efficient, that's a win. So for instance, instead of having to write on pad and paper, I can tap on my voice, I can take an audio note, and if I want, I can actually have that transcribed in real time using speech-to-text technology. It's now added to the case file immediately. We can also leverage things like GPS. So, for instance, if we found the car several blocks away, the officer can mark that on their map, and that's also attached to the case file. The officer proceeds to the location. They're now able to take pictures that are instantaneously synced to that case file. No more having to go back to the station and sync their original camera. Okay, so we've talked about GPS, we've talked about audio, we've talked about photography. We're also going to leverage the touch interface. So in this whole example so far, the officer has not had to type one thing. We're continuing that by using standard built-in UI. So for instance, a date picker, they don't have to type anything in, they can just select it in a very simple, easy way using one finger. All right, so we know it's a stolen vehicle. Let's actually add that vehicle to the case file. I could tap on the vehicle plate and use the keyboard that's already integrated into it, or I could take a picture of the license plate using recognition technology. I take a picture, and it instantly brings back all the relevant data about that particular vehicle. I didn't have to type in anything. Now, we've apprehended a suspect. Using the same type of technology we had before, we can either type their driver's license in, take a picture of it, run a crime data warehouse search, and we bring back the suspect. Not only do we have all the information about the suspect, but if I so choose, I can see their priors. Coming back to my dashboard for my case file, you can see that I've assembled all this in real time. It's fast, it's efficient, it's accurate, and it allows me to do less paperwork and more police work. Thank you.
Mike Homer had a vision. I don't even think he saw that coming. But if you hang around people that are as smart as the people over here, and you have a mayor that has the vision to let them run, you end up with stuff like that, and we'll have a safer San Francisco. So we'll take some questions right now, and then anybody will be available for questions off to the side.
The database only has suspects in it, or like there are priors in companies, like persons of interest, say they are persons of interest in a crime, or something else like that?
Right. So the FI card that Susan spoke to, those aren't arrest cards. Those are field interview cards, and in those cards they'll have known associates, and so you could pop somebody up, and then you could search for known associates, and it'll tell you everybody was with that person. And then you could even type in something as simple as suspects over 6 feet, suspects under 5'5" that are crime partners, and it'll give you that too. Have you ever seen anything like that before? No. Yeah, this is unbelievable. I mean, the data warehouse, as Director Giffen said, there's a lot of people with things that are close but not as good as this. And then as far as this app that is coming attractions, there's nothing similar to that I'm aware of in the country, in the world. It's a work in progress. I'm not pressing them. They're a lot farther along than we thought. But I mean, we just started meeting on this calendar year. 6 months. And in my experience with them is they're being conservative, and that's not very conservative.
What's the cost of this moving forward?
Well, you know, that's the great thing. I mean, the cost to the city is offset a lot by the public-private partnership, But having a web-based server versus a client server, it's probably 20, 25 cents on the dollar. And again, the beauty of this system is that Susan and her team does all the engineering on it. We don't have to call for help or whatever. It's just a change in engineering or a software change.